I've been at a really low point and feel hopeless. And I wondered, did I need to do more healing of my psychology? Because when I go inwards, my heart is really painful. And I have no story around it. Like, it doesn't relate to my life, I feel. Well, it does because it's me, but there's no story, like it's not worries about anything. And it's just a really deep despair.
Yes.
And I feel I'll never get home, you know, and it makes me want to die physically.
Yes.
You know, I want to die physically. And I sometimes long for that. But yet at another level, it's like I need to surrender and I'm not able to surrender, yet I want to surrender. So I was just wondering, could you help me?
Talk to me about surrender. You want to surrender, but you're not able. Talk to me, expand that a little bit, Antoinette.
I don't know. It may seem funny, but I was practicing it in the sea.
Yeah.
You know, just saying, because it's really cold sometimes, and I just go in, you know, just surrender.
Yes.
And I mean, that I have no other way of describing it. When you say go inwards and let go, I really, really feel I let go.
Yes.
And then, but I don't feel the peace you talk about.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. And so your attention is being pulled to a different experience.
Is it? Yeah.
Because you're feeling the hopelessness. Mm-hmm. So
yes.
So the reason we do the psychology work is to free up our attention so that it can drop in.
Mm-hmm.
When we have our attention drawn to a feeling, an emotion without a story, there can be a few things going on. One is that the figuring out of it is the problem. It's a trick.
Okay.
That's one option.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is that there is something in your psychology that happened at a developmental stage before you had the concepts to see what was going on. Mm-hmm. But that the only impact it can have then is it stays with this inexplicable emotional pain, but we've no story around it. That happens when we're, under the age of 2.
Yeah.
And then the third option that I'm looking at is that it's somehow like a little bit stuck in the unified lens of perception and processing some global pain, running global pain through your...
Sometimes like that.
Okay. Antoinette, does it feel selfish to go to God alone?
Yes, it does. It does.
When an experience of abandonment is alive in our psychology, then we would project that onto awakening. because the only way we can experience the relief of getting out of the illusion, the relief of waking up, if we interpret that as abandoning how the illusion continues for so many. And so you might be interpreting that going to God, that complete surrender and dissolving into where you came from, that will mean that you're leaving behind so many others. And that's an abandonment experience talking.
Okay.
Where you'd be heading without the abandonment experience, without that layer of interpreting what's going on. If we can peel that back, and sometimes just seeing it is enough, and sometimes healing it is necessary. But when it peels back, an understanding of actually by me leaving this illusion, it helps everybody because there is more light. There will be more light, like a higher vibration available in my body-mind mechanism when I walk around. And that I know emanates some perfume of freedom for everybody else. Now, that is seen to be so. We can't swap that out from the abandonment experience. We can't say, no, this is really what's going to happen. It doesn't work. It's about the abandonment being healed. And then can you recognize that the greatest gift you can give humanity is actually to awaken and to be in the world awake? That needs to show itself to be the truth, but it can't show itself if the interpretation of abandonment is there.
Okay.
So wherever the voice comes from, or the voices that come from around, you can't have this gem, this diamond of awakening. You can't have this if it's like an old story of I'm not special, or I don't deserve it, or I'm unworthy. Have a look at those types of stories. I think there's a cocktail of them.
Yeah.
And your mind is using them to interpret the movement of your awakening. So your mind has to put a human story on everything, it has to. That's what it's wired to do. So it's putting these stories on it because they still have some potency. They're still taken to be true. They're still trusted. Maybe I don't deserve it. It's still being trusted. It's not seen to be a consequence of some experience that has no validity at all. That's where I need you to list those beliefs and recognize that they are consequences of old experiences, but they actually are not true at all. That's where we need you to be, for you to see that they're not true. Yeah. They have no substance.
Yes.
I need you to list and name and really see the interpretations that your mind has on awakening.
Yeah.
And unravel the source. Like, what do you need to do? Some things you'll have to dig out, and some things you'll be like, you'll just have compassion for your mind that could only pick it up in that way.
Yes.
Each one will have its own flavor of what it needs to be seen through and released.
Yes.
Because none of them are actually true. You're being called home. It is your time.
Yes. And yet, do I have to die physically?
No. You can if you want to wait till then, but no, you don't have to die physically. You really don't have to die physically, actually. You really don't. It's important that you hear me. You really don't have to die physically for this. No, you don't.
Yeah.
But you've got to be able to recognize when the interpretation of what's involved comes from the trauma brain, the human brain.
Yes.
And when it's like, I hear you, mind, that's what you believe is going on here.
Yes.
However, I need to understand from another level.
Yes.
You need the mind to be a little bit quiet and to feel this from another level. But you're trusting your mind still, you see?
Oh, I do, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There are times that's really important, but in the awakening process, no, it's not true. It's not true.
Thank you.
So, sure. And your physical death has nothing. You know, it's one way to like delete the nervous system. It's one way to like, it just shuts down the nervous system. But the imprint of the belief systems, they're not going to go with your body. So go after them now. You see?
Yes, I do. I do see that. Really, actually, I do.
Yes.
Yes, I do. I do. And that's very, yeah, that's very helpful. Yeah. The clearing. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.